Hello, lads and occasional lass. So, I was watching the latest episode of Tech Over Tea with the Linux Matt from the Linux Cast, and he brought up an interesting application that basically I first ran into in my first forays into Linux. And this application is a web browser that violates pretty much the Unix philosophy completely. So, some people may not be aware of it or may not know about it, but this web browser is Konqueror. So, it is basically one of the standard web browser you're going to get in KDE. Most distributions don't actually ship with it in their KDE based distros. They actually ship with Firefox, but this is basically KDE's default web browser. But not only is it a web browser, it's a file manager as well. And according to the description here, it's a universal document viewer. So if we go and really? Game, really? Okay, that's the wrong key. Now, stop it. So you can see, I haven't done this introduction yet, so we're going to go foray into it, but I've basically played around with it a bit, yesterday, to kind of get myself more acquainted with it again. So kind of the backstory. Basically, back in 2008, I had basically borrowed a SUSE Lite CD from one of my teachers to install it on my computer. And it was really weird because KDE did completely different things than what I was used to on Windows, because it had all these animations and things for starting stuff up. It had the icon next to the cursor to show you what application was starting up and things like that. And it was what? But at the same time, it was somewhat familiar. And there was still a lot of things. I was basically jumping in both feet on an old laptop that I wanted to revive because I didn't want to deal with Vista. And Konqueror was one of those applications that I found really weird because not only could I browse the web in it, I can browse through my files with it? What? But so here it says, Konqueror makes working with and managing your files easy. You can browse both local and networked folders while enjoying advanced features such as a powerful sidebar and file previews. Konqueror is also a fold feature and easy-to-use web browser which you can use to explore the internet. Enter the address of a web page you would like to visit in the location bar and press enter, or choose any entry from the bookmarks menu. To return to the previous location, press the back button in the toolbar, go to your home. To quickly go to your home folder, press the home button. For more detailed documentation on Konqueror, click here. So you can set your home page to a web page or a folder, I guess, basically. Tips and tricks. Use web shortcuts by typing GG:KDE. Basically, this will search Google for KDE. Use the magnifier button in the HTML toolbar to increase the font size on your web page. So it will show you different toolbars based on the view that you're in. So just that info. When you want to paste a new address in the location bar, you might want to clear the current entry by pressing the black arrow with the right cross in the toolbar. So it's kind of hard to tell because my dark theme, but there's some of those buttons there. Let me actually switch to a lighter theme for 2 seconds. I know. Adwaita. Come on, buddy. Does that change it? No. Okay. It doesn't want to work. Okay, so it's gonna still use my dark theme, whatever. Okay. Tips. Let's see. You can also find full screen mode in the settings menu. This feature is useful for talk sessions. So podcasty stuff and things like that. To create a link on your desktop pointing to a current page, simply drag the icon or favicon, that is, to the left of the side location toolbar, drop it onto the desktop, and choose icon. The history in your sidebar ensures that you can keep track of the pages you've visited recently. Use a caching proxy to speed up your internet connection, so you can do proxy settings. Advanced users will appreciate the console, which you can embed into Konqueror. So you can use a terminal. It has a terminal shortcut stuff. So basically, specs, this is all the stuff that's important. So if we go back, so first thing you'll note is they do have shortcuts for basically stuff here. So because of the way that my system is currently, yeah, this is how it's gonna, like, it looks really messed up. So I can go into documents. And so basically, for those of you that have used KDE and used Dolphin, basically Konqueror is like Dolphin in this case with a web browser built in. And you can sit here and you can preview images and things like that. So it'll give you the image previews. If we open up, Cards Against Humanity, it'll basically open it up in like QPDF viewer, but I think it should have, oh wait, no, it opens it in a new window. So you can see that we can actually preview basically all of our documents with Konqueror. So if you had a Konqueror installed, you don't technically need a file manager, and and because it's a web browser as well, you don't need that, and you don't need a file previewer, because Konqueror, like I said, it violates the Unix philosophy completely. So you can sit here and look at basically everything in just Konqueror, and that's it. It just lets you look at everything. It's got basically, I believe, the same shortcuts across the bar. And you can see each time that I switch to something different, it basically changes the, what is it? The toolbar. So it'll kind of adapt the toolbar based on what we are looking at. So we've got some preview things basically here. And if we, I think I've got, so, and this is how it previews text files, which is really interesting and I wasn't quite aware of. But you can, basically, you don't need anything else if you ever install Konqueror. That's basically your end-all be-all. So we can go to my website, and you can see basically we've got it running in a web page as well. Well, the web as well. So we can go to PeerTube, and it runs that up. We can go look at this one. And it just runs it. It's basically your all-in-one thing for browsing stuff. The one thing interesting that it does as well is it's got a thing, basically it can kind of look at the rest, like whatever you have installed, and based on the context, it knows like, okay, these are some of the applications that I can call to open up. So it even recognizes CLI-FM. We've got Polo, so I've got a few different file managers because I'm looking at, for something else, I was messing around. It even recognizes dmenu.fm. So they've got a whole line of like different file managers that it recognizes, and that you can open the folder in and preview it that way. So we could just sit here and go through and just, oh, it wants to mass rename it with space FM. That's sad. No, that's a Finder. How did I do that? It doesn't have a terminal set. Oh no. But, can we do Ranger? No. I think it wants to open it in console. Thunar. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Fine then. Be that way. Nope. That's it. Um, I stand corrected. But yeah, you can see it does that, and it's got basically the whole line of context stuff if you need it. It does it one at a time, so you can't open 10 million different file managers all at once. Lesson learned. Oh. But yeah, if I go open terminal here, it doesn't want to do it. So if we go into the settings, where was that? Settings, configure Konqueror. So this is kind of where all your settings are going to live. So you've got the file manager and the web browser, basically kind of two separate categories that you're running with. So let me see, can I find... I don't think it wants to do anything, but basically I think it might detect what web engines you have, and so right now I've only got web engine pretty much, but you can also go with, let's see, where is it? Show my start page. Okay, so if I want to make... Am I typing that in right? No, I'm not. Click apply, and then we can quit. Close window. Konqueror. So it opens up my start page, and for some reason it wants to open up Konqueror's intro page, whatever. But just like the file manager, it also does the same thing with your web pages too. What's interesting is the number of applications that it lists in this case for a web page. But I think this more has to do with the other stuff as well. So you can obviously open stuff with other web browsers as well if you really want to. So, and of course, Falcon, you know, for some reason. But Konqueror does it all in one, so why do you need anything else? Do I have Dillo installed? Yes, I do. So yeah, you can see that it basically works perfectly, and you can use it as a shortcut to open your other web browsers with too. So if something won't quite render in Konqueror with it using Web Engine, but then you can also open it in Chromium as well, and look at it that way as well. So if you've got another Chromium web browser or Firefox and it's not quite rendering right, then you can open it up this way. It's already got it built in, unlike some of the others. It does boast having extensions, which is interesting. So it basically, in essence, shows you different extensions for like the mode that you're in. So if you're in like the web browser mode, it's going to show you web related stuff, or if you're in file manager mode, it's going to show you file manager stuff, and that's basically it. Kind of keeps everything separate. Let's see if I go to no. So if I go to documents and I preview my Cards Against Humanity in new tab, then we go to... So yeah, you get different menus based on, what you're using. So you've got, basically each view has its own thing. So it's got, in essence, it's got different modes based on what you're looking at and everything, but it's also got everything all in one. So you're not going to look at the same things if you're looking at like two completely different things, but it's the same application basically. So let's go into backends if we want to, and we can sit here and we can look at everything. So you could probably even read your comic book CBZ files in here, and it would work just fine, more than likely. So for those weebs out there that like are looking for an application, you might try Konqueror to try and look at it, because it can read a whole bunch of things. In fact, we may as well try it right now. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, so I finally found one that works. And yes, you can preview your comic books in Konqueror. Works pretty well, it looks like. Tried to find other examples, but it was a tough pass to do. But yeah, if this was helpful, you know where the links and stuff are. Go read some comic books in Konqueror, your favorite web browser file manager, everything in one, and I'll see you later.